Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 505. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Yo.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Hey. Shoot up.
Shoot up. Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to 505 of the Gamecast. Got an exciting topic tonight. We're going to talk about the future of the franchises again. We're going to cover Tomb Raider, strangely enough, which we were talking a lot about Uncharted on the movie cast, which is weird. But yeah, so that's coming in this episode. But first, let's kick it off with what we've been up to. I kind of want Corey to lead us off here because I think you've been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, no, I've been getting into the Ghost of Tsushima game. It was actually, I didn't pre-order it, and I was like, oh well, this is actually pretty difficult to find.
Yeah.
But I was able to find a copy and get to play it. So I haven't played that much. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 hours, I'd say. And then another hour of just playing in the photo mode, because the photo mode was just very, very well done in that game. Like you can add effects, different color filters and stuff. It's like, an Instagram like photo you're editing and stuff, but you can add music, you can add, particles, you can add weather changes and stuff. And I mean, other photo modes do this, but just the way this game is, it's just such a wonderful game to like be in. And that's the thing that drew me initially, is that this game reminds me very much of Horizon Dawn, in that like I was just having fun kind of like exploring the world, not really caring about what was going on in the story or like missions I had to do. I was like, wow, this is just really cool to see, and like this is the thing and that's the thing, and so that was really cool. But the game itself, it starts off, as you would expect. A game of this ilk is going to, is you're basically on a revenge mission, and so like you kind of see what puts you in that position to go on this revenge mission, and kind of breaks you down into your most basic abilities, and then you kind of build yourself back up to where you were as a samurai. And I did start the game on the Japanese dialogue because I wanted to get as much immersion as possible in the game. But
I heard that was a problem.
But the problem was like they use like real actors to play these parts, and so they motion capture them speaking the parts as well in English. And so all the voice, all the mouth movements and stuff is for English. And it's not as bad in anime, because it kind of just like they don't put the detail in it as much. But here it's weird because it should have been the Japanese voice to come out.
I feel like
first.
They should have flipped that. Yeah, I feel like we should have had the Japanese voices with a dub.
Yeah, and then
because people can enjoy that for different.
No,
you can enjoy that differently as well. I mean, there's the old-fashioned movies where the dub was just so bad that it was, what I mean? Like,
sure.
You could still enjoy that, and then I'd still have the subtitles going with Japanese voices. I would love that experience too, because it's a samurai game. You want to immerse yourself, like you said.
Definitely. And but then after like a few hours, that's like I just recently switched to English, and it's interesting because then now you're like actually hearing these people's voices, and you're like, oh, these fit so much better with the people, because you know who these people are as soon as you see them as well. It's like, I know this guy and stuff like that.
There's been a bit of criticism about that, which I mean, I understand. Like, I'm not raking them over the fires for it and stuff like that, but it's just like for a game that they were like, so gung ho about, being like
getting things right, and
getting things right, being like, oh, like
honoring
right,
all
like that. It's just like, how'd this get by, and stuff like that. So I hope they fix it, and I hope like by the time I get to play the game, it'll be like that. So
what's cool is that like you could like that's totally a thing that you could do, because it's just motion capture, so you could potentially just fix the mouths and stuff. But
that sounds actually hard because it's motion capture like that.
Well, no, I mean like
it's not like how they used to just animate things freehand. Like these were like performances that that's why.
But at the same time, like you've seen people try to do that before and they haven't had it done really well. But like I think a lot of it could be done. I don't know how feasible or how worth it is. It's probably like millions of dollars worth of work that they don't know if they want to.
Maybe they even thought. I'm not sure, but it seems like they might have even considered it like later on, because it is funny with the Kurosawa mode, because you would think like if
that's awesome. Kurosawa mode is awesome because like when you turn it on initially, it is kind of like that grainy film look to it as well. And even though like as you get into the game, it cleans that up, but like when you are given the option, like do you want to go with this mode or this mode or this mode, it does give you that grainy, old time film look to it.
That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as gameplay goes, it's really good so far. The combat I do enjoy because it's pretty realistic. Like it only takes a few like swipes of the sword to kill somebody. It's like
How
you're not really
like challenging is that? Like, is it pretty cool? Like, is it pretty good for levels? Like, I'm interested in this game, but I'm really worried about the challenge level it is to do like.
No,
it's not. I know it's not Dark Souls.
I heard
know it's not Dark
that I heard criticism that it was too easy.
Oh,
I
wow.
think that I think if you can get good at the dodging part of it, then you'll have no problem with this game, and that's fine. For me, I think I want to be this powerful samurai that just like storming through people and just like killing them quickly. And when you do face an enemy with armor, then it does take a little longer to kill them because you gotta get through the armor or whatever. But at the same time, I like the fact that you need to kind of use your skills with a sword in order to do well, and if you are good with that, you're going to do well. So I have no problem with that factor. And there's 3 levels of difficulty for your gym, so you can choose what difficulty you want.
There we go. That's
but,
all you need in the game. That's all you need, guys.
But I think one of the like key moments in some of the demos that we saw was like that showdown mode where your guy comes at you just like one swipe kill and stuff. And they have that in here. It's really, it kind of takes you out of it a little bit because it is gamified a little bit. It gives you a little prompt that, do you want to do a showdown? Then like you hit yes, and so then it goes into and so it's not natural.
Oh, that's a little weird.
That's not good. Yeah.
People seem to really like it, but it also that was part of I think what makes it really easy because it's like you can't. I don't. Well, maybe it changes.
Chain them so like
okay.
Initially it's just with one guy, but then you can power that up to make it so that way they come at you and you just go and you like kill 3 guys in like one motion, one animation kind of thing. And there's a trophy for never failing that. So there you go.
Wow.
But But yeah, I'd say this game is fantastic so far, and it is one of the most well done as far as realized worlds. Oh, the UI is fantastic because of how minimal it is. How I remember Fable 2 where like people were like how do you have this like how do people not think of having like a trail that you can follow to tell you where to go or whatever? And then like you got like GTA with this huge ass arrow pointing places, and you have all these like things that take you out of the immersion of the world.
Yeah.
Ghosts, it's the wind. It just blows, and like you can see the leaves blowing, and you have to follow the wind, and you just follow wherever the leaves are blowing, and that's the direction you need to go. So it's really neat. And then you can kind of like test the wind out. There's like a control that you use to kind of see where the wind's blowing. And like, oh, the wind's blowing this way. This is the way I got to go. It's like follow the wind. So so far it's been fantastic, and looking forward to getting through some more and getting more stronger, powerful, and seeing how this goes. So very very good so far.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting this game. This will be something I do pick up soon. I have plenty of games to trade in, so I'm like looking at options for that. But Mike, did you have this one?
I picked it up today actually.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
And I've played maybe an hour of it. I feel like I'm like somewhere still in the prologue, but like I guess I feel like I'm near the end of it. I had like there's like a break in it that seems like it's the end of the prologue, but then it's not. Yeah, I was a little. It's good, and I'm waiting really to like wait for like nighttime and like to really like isolate and like look at this because it's that type of game where you don't want like sun peeking in, you don't want to like stop it and go do something else. You want to like
get immersed.
Get in there. But it's a good game so far. I mean, I am still in the prologue. And I do wonder if I chose normal, and at one point I was thinking, should I have chose hard? Because like the similar control scheme game that I've played recently was Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order, which is way harder. And so I was like, I was hardly getting hit doing this, but it's still the prologue. I did die once though, so I'm like, all right.
But But you're supposed to be like a super powered samurai. I kind of like it makes me. I'm probably gonna play this game on normal now that I'm hearing this. I'll probably try it on normal.
Yes, but I'm not.
Can you adjust it mid game?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I might change it, but I'm not sure.
That's always good too. Yeah.
I'd like to see like what the actual like open world like type level of difficulty is but so I'm looking forward to it, and it's funny though because I mean I've seen some Kurosawa films in film class and all this stuff, but I can't help my first exposure to like this whole setting. I see this and I'm thinking, oh yeah, Ninja Turtles 3. Like, that's just how it happens, so that's always going to be with me.
See, I mean, this kind of like I always think of like The Last Samurai for me. Like I know Ninja Turtles 3, but I hated that movie, so it's like
it's been blocked.
I think Last Samurai. Yeah, I think Last Samurai myself.
I mean, I was young enough where I didn't mind it at the time, so
even though I've seen plenty of samurai movies, of the Kurosawa stuff and other ones. I'm trying to think of other ones actually now, but I'm sure that Corey and I have seen some when we watched a lot of these other films before. But
There's that Japanese one with the ghosts, whatever. What's that movie called? I can't remember.
What was that? The ghost in the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't remember that one.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was one definitely. The Return.
No, that was more modern.
That was the modern one.
With the
I'm trying to. It was the same idea. Oh my God, that's gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Corey, before we move to Mike again, did you have anything else you played, or you?
I've been focusing on that.
Okay, Mike. I know you just got the game. Did anything else before?
I mean, I went back to some Rocket League. Again.
Which is going free. It's going free.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of was for a lot of us with PlayStation a while ago, but
like true free, like true free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's interesting. I know they have the Rocket Pass on there, which is their battle pass, which I kind of hate because you can't even buy individual things anymore. Like I did that on my PlayStation account, where I got like the DeLorean and the Batmobile, but now that stuff isn't even available anymore. It's kind of weird.
It's licensed.
Yeah, I was gonna say licensing's all finicky like that.
And so I mean, it must be making good money for them. I don't like the battle pass system at all. Because I'm not really earning much of anything. I'm earning stuff that I need to pay for to unlock, and it's kind of frustrating. But whatever. And I also kind of wish there was a way for me to merge my accounts, since it does do crossplay now. But I'm not sure if there's a way to merge like your Xbox and PlayStation account on Rocket League. But other than that, though, it's just fun. I really wish my friends that I play with could catch up a little bit to me. I know I've been playing it way more, but like, and it's fun like being a lot better than everyone else. But so I had to like bite my tongue with my friend just because it's just like, oh, how did you miss that again, dude? But the game is 5 years and it's still like it's fun. So
yeah, cool. All right, Tony.
Let's see. I forget. Time is so weird in COVID that I don't remember. Did I talk about beating Sekiro last week or no?
You said you went back to finish.
I went back to it.
Yeah.
So since the last podcast, I beat Sekiro, and my God, like the last 3 bosses of that game were absolutely just ball breaking. Like,
I know you said you spent like 2 days on one boss or something.
Yeah, 2 days on fighting your dad, which was just. In some ways, he's probably harder than the last boss. And the last boss was ridiculous. He had fucking 4 phases to that boss. And I'm just like, okay, that's cool. But it was good. It was very rewarding because, especially the last boss, it was like really like just testing all the abilities you learn throughout the game in terms of like parrying, dodging, like damaging the stagger meter, making use of like the terrain and stuff like that. So I definitely felt very accomplished with that. So pretty satisfied. Shelving that for now. I might go through another playthrough because it's kind of fun because now, like in New Game Plus and all the From Software games, even though like all the enemies are a bit more powerful, you still have like all your skills and your upgrades and stuff like that. So it's just like, like I'm just gonna kill this dude, because I know how to play the game now. So I might go through like a victory lap or something like that. So I played that. I went back to the other 2D shoot 'em up game I was playing called Zero Ranger because I finally got like like
over the fact that they
I got
fucked you over at the end.
It was two things. I got over the fact that they fucked me over, and I found where the save file is, so I just backed it up. I was like, all right, I'm doing this again, and I'm backing it up. And sure enough, I played it over like 2 days. I got back to where I was, beat the last boss, and got to that like one shot like chance, absolute like clear save data level, and I died both times. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm glad I copied these save files because I didn't want to go through another 2 point whatever hours to get back to that point again. So anyway, I think I'm just like one more session away from like actually beating because I know the gimmicks and stuff now. So we're there. And then on Friday I got Paper Mario and played that a bunch over the weekend.
Nice.
Which
how many hours do you think you played that?
Probably like 5-ish, I would say.
Okay, so I think I'm at like 2. So I think I'm at like 2.
I beat whatever the first thing in the game is, a streamer or whatever like that. Like whatever the goal is for the game.
Yeah, I see that's the goal. I haven't gotten there yet, so I'm still working on it. But
the battle system is interesting. So it's like not quite like Mario 64, like Paper Mario 64 or 1000 Year Door on GameCube, but it's not like Sticker Star or Color Splash or anything like that. It's like this weird like
mix between.
Yeah, it's like this weird mix with like the grid, you have a circular grid, and the thing is like you have to like manipulate the board to line up enemies so you can get like stronger combos and stuff like that. So for normal enemies it's like whatever, but like for the boss fight, I've done 2 boss fights. It's a little bit more interesting because now it's the opposite. Instead of being in the middle and you manipulate the rings on the outside, it's like you're on the outside and you have to manipulate the rings to help you get to specific places on the boss to like expose their weakness and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It's not like the deepest RPG or anything like that, but that's fine. I just need a nice chillax game after coming off of all the From Software games I've been playing lately. And the writing is hilarious. Just I love like the way that they write the Mario characters in this universe, because it's like there's this one Toad that was like, he's like, am I the Luigi of Toads? And he looks like really sad and stuff, and it's just like, oh no, it's like this is my origin story and stuff like that. And there's another one that's like doing the whole like let me in meme or something like that. And I was like, okay, that's kind of funny and stuff like that. So yeah, enjoying that, but that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing, like I said, 2 hours of that so far. My only issue with the battle system is the controls get like they're confusing in terms of the way you spin it, because you have to spin the wheels and you have to select the right wheels. So for me, that's the only part of it. It is basic, but it's not meant to be anything crazy. Yeah. You're not like it's not like crazy. I love the world though, because it's what I remember as like Mario 64, but it's like paper. And this is my first Paper Mario game, so I haven't played any of the other ones, so this is where I'm jumping in at. And I don't know, I actually am enjoying it. The weird dance number that happened earlier in the game was really weird, but yep.
They do a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I definitely am interested in obviously playing more of it. My biggest thing that I got this week was Ring Fit Adventure. I played, like I said, 2 hours of Paper Mario. I'm sorry, I'm slowing down here. Shoot, I'm doing too much on my computer. But I got Ring Fit as well, and I've been playing that like crazy. It's incredible what a little. I'm so worried I'm gonna break the plastic wheel. Like I'm so worried, but it's pretty durable. Like on the ab thing, I'm like, I'm gonna break this freaking thing. Like it's gonna break. I'm trying. Like, do not hit me, because ab is your block. So you kind of push the wheel against your stomach, and you have to hold it. And like there's a certain amount of pressure you have to hold onto it and block. And the more pressure you're on, the more you block and damage. The story is whatever, but at least there's a game involved with this, and it's actually like holy crap. I started on expert level. I did the first day, and I was like, I did that, no problem. And then the second day, I was like, yeah, they asked me if they wanted to up it more, and I'm like, yeah, up it more. And then that day was the one I messaged you guys on Discord when Discord went down. I was like, I just had gotten finished with it, and I'm like, I barely finished. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, I was just like dripping with sweat, and I don't sweat much when I go to the gym. Like it's not the kind of exercise I usually do, so it's like, holy shit. Yeah. So yeah, I had to actually reduce it a little bit the next time. I'm at that level since. It's probably a good level for me. My actual character level?
No, like there's like a fitness level or whatever.
Oh, I should probably look at that.
Or fitness difficulty or whatever like that. All it really means is I think the amount of reps you're doing for each exercise or whatever like that.
It's a lot, 20 for certain.
Okay,
things?
so probably 20 or something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know I did 20 of the It's like 20 of everything right now. So yeah, I'm probably at 20. That's about right. But I just got to the part where I just passed that part. I'm on level 3, and the color coding. I have to say the color coding has made it a little bit easier. So I'm like, I might up it a little bit more because I do more damage. I'm like, okay, I could probably start upping the difficulty again now. I was still sweating like crazy because I got the knee, like where you have to bring the thing down and hit your knees, and you're just like kicking and high kick kind of thing. I was cardio-wise, man, it's kicking my butt. But I haven't really exercised since March, so I'm actually in a great mood now. Like I love having this. It's like it improves your mood when you're able to exercise a little
Endorphins,
bit.
man. Endorphins.
Yeah, I mean, it's been. The only thing I've noticed now is I had a little more trouble sleeping because I have more energy now. So I'm like, holy crap! So I'm staying up to 1 o'clock again. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like starting to stay up later. But I have to change my sleep schedule again because school's going to start soon. But I'm very impressed with this game. Like the only thing I wonder, like, can you buy an extra strap for the leg?
Yeah.
You know,
you can buy a replacement strap. I don't know about like on the other leg if that's what you're talking about.
No, I want a separate strap because like. I'm sweating like crazy.
Yeah, you can buy extra rings and extra leg straps. Yeah. Either official or not official on like eBay. I think you can get a set for like $20 or something, $30.
I just want to get a second one for my girlfriend wants to start because she's seen me do this thing and I'm like, and I'm in decent shape. I mean, I'm not so much since COVID, but I was in decent shape before we started, and it's kicking my butt. Like today, I mean, my calorie counter has been off the charts because I actually still wear I have a heart rate sensor because I always love to track my data and how much I'm burning. And so I have a heart rate sensor and my watch and they sync together. And the game, I got to give the game credit. Holy shit. So I have a heart rate sensor, which you cannot beat that accuracy. The game is within like 2 heartbeats of that in terms of my reading. Like give you your rating.
When you use the Joy-Con.
Yeah,
I know, right?
It is like
it's crazy.
2. I'm like, it is
I was so skeptical. I was like, because I have the Apple Watch, and I don't know how accurate that is, but I'm like, well, it seems fairly accurate, and I do it, and I'm like, yeah, that's like 2-3 off maybe at best.
The Apple Watch is really awesome in accuracy, except it doesn't change as fast as a heart rate sensor. Heart rate goes up and down quick.
Right.
So, but like, it follows both quite well. Like it's like very impressive. Like it's within 1 or 2 usually. I just love the game. Unlocking more skills and activities. It's actually in depth, like strategy now with colors of the enemies. Yeah. I was fighting 5 enemies at once, so I'm like, okay, well I got yellow enemies here, so I'm gonna just take them out first. And I just did like the sweeping twist thing, over and over again. But then I also picked some. Actually, like I challenged myself, and so I actually picked like stuff that didn't match up on color because I'm like, okay, this guy's. I have enough hearts. I'm like, I can do a couple extra exercises.
Yeah, you'll start getting to that point too, where it's like, I haven't done abs. Let me do an ab thing.
Yeah, like I did squats, and I'm like, okay. The problem is like I'm usually like forgetting squats because I hate squats. And this game is brutal with its squats. You have to hold
the levels. Yeah.
Oh god. And so like, but I made myself.
I'm glad somebody knows my pain now.
Yeah. So I made myself do them, and then the problem was today, level 3, the first 3 areas I was on are blue rated. Yeah, it is like
it's leg day. It's leg world. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's awesome to have that conversation though in a video game. Like it's a good it's a fun game. Like that's why I can't
like that's what it is. Like that's what I was trying to like talk about. Like they had the Wii Fit thing. Don't get me wrong. And I know there's been other games like the Xbox Connect boxing or whatever like that.
There's been
like a great intersect of like game and like fitness because it's a legitimately fun game and stuff like that. And I'm not even sure. Like, have you tried like the other modes? So there's a mode where you create your custom like workout, or it's like you just pick I think 6 or 7 exercises. So you can do custom work, and you can create different lists too. Like so you can get like a strictly like arm list, a strictly like ab list, leg list, or you can create a custom where it's like one of each or something like that, and you just go through it. Or there's also that like
music, right?
Yeah, broke ass like VR Saber mode, but it's like Mario, Splatoon, Zelda, and Ring Fit music and stuff like that. That's kind of fun too. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, I'm enjoying that quite a bit. So, all right, let's get into the news here real quick. What do we got here? MPD came out too. We forgot to put that on here.
Oh yes.
Let's go find that real quick. I'm going to start off with the funny thing. first of all, I'm not advocating for console wars. I feel like it's stupid nowadays to have a console war. But like, I do like the fact that like when a developer comes out and like yell because he's getting trolled like crazy and just says, go talk to Sony why we can't do 120 frames per second in your game. I find that like, trolls are just ridiculous nowadays. So Insomniac Games, not Insomniac Games. Where is it on here? Oh, the Dynamic Voltage Games. I'm sorry, he's making a game for exclusive to the Xbox X will be 120 frames per second. And the reason why it's exclusive is apparently because of the way the processor and graphics work in that system. It makes it capable of being able to do 120 frames per second, whereas the PS version can't make that speed, even with the hard drive. So like he was apparently getting hate trolled like crazy from PlayStation people. Why'd you make this exclusive? Blah blah blah. And then he's just like, you know what? Go talk to Sony. I didn't make the system. So
yeah, people are ridiculous.
So what's 120 frames per second gonna look like?
I want to see it. I haven't seen that yet, but PC has that stuff now, right? I mean, that's obviously.
Yep.
Now, Miles Morales, the PlayStation 5 game is going to have a 60 frames per second performance mode, which is good. So you're going to have 4K 60 frames per second in that game. A little less detail than what they showed us in that trailer because that was running at 30 frames per second. But you can experience
the performance mode in the Fallen Order seems to do the opposite of what it was supposed to do for me. I don't know.
I think that was broken, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think it literally.
I remember there being a massive problem. That had fake HDR too. Like that HDR was broken in that game, so it was not optimized properly that game. But Miles Morales, what they showed us, it looks amazing. They're going to scale back a little bit on the graphic detail, and they can speed up the frame rate and give you 60 frames per second. I just think that's
concessions already on some a system that's not even out yet.
It doesn't mean they're going to have to make concessions going forward.
You're going to get your loading time soon back.
No, I don't think that's based on the hard drives. That doesn't change. But I think that having the 60 frames is going to be. I think that needs to be an option in every game because experiencing that through a city, like if you're swinging like that speed, that's the best experience I think we're going to see with this game. I can't wait to experience that. I'll be playing it in that mode. I don't care about like. As long as it's HDR as well still with 60 frames, I'll be playing it like that. I don't care about looking at a wall and seeing individual bricks. I mean, I'm fine with it being pixelated.
I've never really saw the need to do 60 frames in the action game.
You got to experience it. You got to experience it.
I have.
We're gonna talk about that actually.
I mean, I only think in fighting and first-person shooters. That's it. Like, I don't need it outside of that.
Oh God.
Every game should be minimum 60 frames if possible.
I think it's. I mean, we're gonna get into that a little bit with Tomb Raider because that was one of the conversations. But yeah, what else do you have?
Outside of fighting and actually outside of first-person shooters, I couldn't tell you which games I played that have been 60 frames.
Some people they don't notice. I mean, I'm sure there are people that don't notice, but it's one of those things that.
I don't know how you can't notice that smoothness that like.
I've only noticed it.
You didn't care for the longest time, Jim.
I know. I'm just saying that I have learned my lesson.
I've seen the lights.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
For me, change your opinion around here. Jeez.
When you're trying to be competitive and like,
I'm just saying, you're like acting as though it's like some odd, like crazy thing.
I just feel like, but I noticed the difference. I saw the difference.
You gotta wait for animations in most action games anyway. Like I don't know. I don't get it.
If frames get bad, you can tell, and like if you're at I mean, it's like watching.
I mean, I'm not talking about like perfect dark here, but
you can see how like with movies specifically, like when you change the frame rate, it changes the way the movies look.
Yeah, it looks weird when you go, quicker than
48. Yeah, if you go to 48, it's like real life. You're like, what the heck is going on? And then you go to 24, like, oh, this is more like it. But like that's because this is a movie, and you can see that. But with video games, because you're doing it, you're actually involved in all these things. Like when you start losing frames, you can notice, because if you stay at that level, Mike, if you're at 60 all the time, you're looking at 60 all the time, and then you drop, it's gonna be jarring.
It's jarring because you can switch those back and on and off for certain games.
Saying if you're if you can be on 60 with everything you do, and then you just go to something that's not, it's like, whoa, what is happening here? You're like in slow motion.
It feels sluggish. It does feel sluggish. So, let's see, Xbox Game Pass sounding unlikely now for Switch and PlayStation. I'm not shocked with that now that I've all the news we've heard from Game Pass, where it's like including what was last week? It was like the big news I mentioned. It was
Well, xCloud is going to be
xCloud's now included into it, which is, again, Stadia. Oof. Sorry, Google. Like, there's just the value is just right there. I mean, as soon as they launch xCloud, it's a better value than Stadia, just from the start. From the start.
Yeah.
You have an instant library.
Yeah.
But yeah, what NPD? Let's go on NPD real quick. Do you have that?
Yeah.
Oh, you just want to say something about the Game Pass?
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's interesting because like it's right at the start, a little bit right before the start of the new generation. So I'm wondering if Microsoft's like, you know what? Let's how we do first. Like let's how we do on our own before it's like, okay, we need everybody to be on Game Pass.
You still think it's built? They just have to flip a switch, right?
Yeah, it's just like, you know what? Well, let's just see how the first year or two does. Because like, I mean, honestly, there has to be a non-zero factor. I'm not saying a huge factor, but there has to be some non-zero factor if it's like. So you're saying I can get Game Pass on my PlayStation 5 as long as I subscribe to your service. So it's like, okay, cool. I'll give you, I don't know, $100 for the year.
I wonder if you're going to get like Game Pass PS4, PS5 version, Switch version, where like you're only getting a certain amount of games, but still because you are a Game Pass subscriber and like you get the full-blown library if you have Windows, but then, you go to Switch, you have like these few titles or something.
Not the Halo games or something.
Right. It's like
I could see that because I mean, like Xbox, I mean they released all their like smaller indie stuff like Cuphead and Ori, which are Cuphead is always in the top 20 for the eShop. Always in the top 20 of the eShop. It's crazy. Same thing. Minecraft always there.
Isn't that going to be a Netflix show? Cuphead?
Yeah. Cartoon.
Yeah.
Anyway, NPD.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So top 20 best-selling games. Number 1, no surprise, Last of Us Part 2. Number 2 was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Number 3 was Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 4 is Jim's favorite game to not talk about.
Yep.
Number 5, Mortal Kombat 11. Yep.
Surprised Mortal Kombat's back up there again. I guess.
Well, they had that re-release.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's a separate thing. I mean, it's a separate purchase.
Right, but people still, bought it. Number 6, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 7, Ring Fit Adventure, jumping from last month rank 835 all the way up to number 7. Number 8, yeah, it's crazy. Number 8, NBA 2K20. Number 9, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 10, Minecraft Dungeons. Let's see, the bottom half of the 20. 11, Smash Brothers Ultimate.
There was another one that was interesting. Persona, right?
Persona, yep. Number 18, Persona 4 Golden. Jumped from 615 to 18 because of the Steam/PC release of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's SpongeBob at number 19 if people care about that. But yeah, excellent job. I think Sony. Where is that's comment here about that? Best-selling game of June 2020 obviously instantly becomes the 3rd best-selling game of 2020 to date and the 8th best-selling game of the 12-month period ending in June. Generating the highest launch month dollar sales of any 2020 title released to date, and the 2nd biggest launch for a Sony-published game in history, trailing only Marvel Spider-Man in September 2018. Let's see. Hardware spending declined 17% compared to a year ago. This is the first
Switches, so that's why.
This is the first month-on-month, or first month of year-on-year decline since February. Year-to-date spending has increased 25% to a year ago. So, pretty good overall month for the industry.
Oh, yeah. Sony doubled their forecast for PS5s, trying to get to 10 million because of the lockdowns. Yeah.
I mean, it's so important. Like, because, I mean, let's be honest. At this point, at least in America, we're not getting through this by the end of the year.
No.
There's no way.
No. Not a chance.
No way. So just having, and that's the thing is like they're doubling their production apparently to the 10 million, and I gotta wonder if they're just sending half to America, like honestly, because you know what, like people aren't going anywhere. They're gonna have hopefully the people that have still have their jobs, like they're not doing vacations, they're not going anywhere and stuff like that. So it's like I look at a new PlayStation 5, takes that sting out of that $500 price tag that's gonna come and be announced next month.
I mean, if you're saving money on not going out on vacation, why not spend it on a PlayStation?
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. So,
All right. Before we get into our topic, which is Tomb Raider franchise, I just want to mention this is a movie news, but because it's breaking, I had to put it right on here now. DC Universe has ended its yearly subscription option and has only gone to month right now, which does not bode well for that service, considering that's usually the first step of shutting down. So
Yeah, isn't that what? I forget one of the other ones did, but
yeah, it's the first step.
Because the thing is, if you do a year, but you cancel the service within that year, people can do chargebacks and stuff like that, right?
Yep. So this gets them out of that. So DC is not looking too strong, right? I know it's not doing well with their own, not even like HBO Max not doing great, but it's just I know that their viewership, everything's down massively for them right now. So in a time where it should be up, but
it's a shame because it's really all I've been watching lately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I expect it to go to HBO Max, Mike. I mean, I really do expect they're going to fold into it. More and more looking like that.
As long as they give
so
it
much
to
stuff
me.
is leaving HBO too, which is weird.
I know,
which is also why I thought maybe they were going to go back to DC Universe.
Yeah.
That's weird.
All right. I know. Let's get into the topic of Tomb Raider the franchise. There's been some recent Tomb Raider games that we've played. There's been the classic Tomb Raider games. This is a major franchise for Square.
Is it?
I think it could be.
Maybe?
This is like Halo. Actually, it's a little worse.
Well, it's worse than Halo.
But okay, let's go with like Tomb Raider is an iconic franchise from the.
Okay, I'll agree. It's iconic. Major?
So like, do you want something like this is gonna die? I mean, I don't think so.
I think it could.
It died for a while.
For Square, yeah, but for Square.
They tried to kill it too.
Yeah.
By putting it exclusive to Xbox.
So I know, but like I'm
gonna just say full disclosure. I've never played a Tomb Raider game. Ever.
Wow. You know, I didn't really enjoy the older games. I played them actually on PC, believe it or not. That's the only way I played the Tomb Raider games. Yeah, isn't that weird? I played them on PC. Yeah, because I got a free pack of them when I was working at EB Games. And I had a PC that could run them, so I popped them in. And I played some Tomb Raider games on there. It didn't play great. I don't know what the draw was then, but then
big boobs.
they relaunched it.
We knew the draw.
Yeah, but then they rebooted it, and I thought it was a very good reboot. With the exception of the final game just being broken, like they went backwards. I don't know how many times I've mentioned that on this podcast. They went backwards in that game. Clearly didn't have the funding they needed to make a game, but it had such great promise from that first game. Obviously, they built their game very similar to what Uncharted was laid out to be. And is that what we want from a Tomb Raider franchise, or do we want something different? Do we want its own identity?
Well, I think that Tomb Raider kind of, when you think of Tomb Raider, you think of the female Indiana Jones, what they were going for.
Sure.
And then,
I mean, that's the thing. Is like here's the thing. Like, I don't think you'd have Uncharted without Tomb Raider, but you wouldn't have new Tomb Raider without new Uncharted. So it's just
they kind of hand off.
Uncharted, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's like they're climbing on top of each other. Get it?
Yes.
They definitely influenced each other, and obviously Indiana Jones was the influence for both of them. But I think that Uncharted kind of paved the road for a Tomb Raider revival for sure. And the character is interesting. I do think that they did a better job of representing her in the newer versions.
I think so. Yeah.
Less sexualized,
Yeah.
It's like a real person. And
I think. Yeah, go on.
And there could be an interesting game there. I just don't know if people want that anymore. They have a lot of it already.
I think in this climate, I think having a strong female character like that they've reinvented. I think her character was great. I think that I love the design of that character. They made her more realistic. They made her granted she went from being a hurt, helpless girl to a mass killer in game 1, if you remember right. But I think in this climate, in terms of what we're dealing with Ubisoft and all these people out there, you want to represent females in games, women in games, and that's a character that represents the new design. I mean, represents that quite well. I thought. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously not a woman, so it's tough for me to sympathize, to get that side of things. But I feel like that was a good representation of showing a strong female character. That's what I saw her as.
You just got to go to like PAX or Comic-Con and see all the girls dressed up as that version of Lara Croft, and know
So
It's true, but
that's my point. Like, and now, and obviously, listen, they're in this. Everybody's in this to make money in this field, and so now is the time. I feel like we should get another Tomb Raider game. I'd be shocked if we didn't get something announced, because that's
the problem with it for me is I've played the Uncharted's now, and I feel like if I played a modern Tomb Raider, it would just feel like a slightly cheaper Uncharted.
Yeah, and that's where I want to steer the conversation for the next few minutes.
Okay.
Because I talked about this before, right? I would say that new Tomb Raider, like the original, 2013 was when the reboot came out.
Yeah.
That was fine, because if you look at Tomb Raider 2013 versus Uncharted 3 was probably the latest Uncharted, right? At that point.
4.
Was
wait, that was
No,
4
wasn't out yet.
4 wasn't out yet. Yeah, it was 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can put Uncharted 3 and Tomb Raider 2013 next to each other, and you're like, okay, like these are pretty comparable, right? You might have some whatever, but I mean, if you put Uncharted 4 next to whatever the last Tomb Raider game is,
it was bad.
Right? There's a drastic. Hold on. There's a drastic difference, right? We can agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Absolutely.
A noticeable difference.
Absolutely.
And this is what I'm talking about, is that the bar has been raised so much by, in particular, Sony first-party studios. Not that I'm blaming them, but it's like they can afford to throw hundreds of millions of dollars to Naughty Dog to be like, hey, crunch on this game for 4 years, 5 years, whatever it takes you. You need to make this AAA system seller, exclusive for us and stuff like that, because they don't have to worry how they're going to pay for that, because it's all within their ecosystem. Square Enix can't afford to do that. They can't throw hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right, selling 6 million copies of a game is not successful.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, and that's what we talked about in 2013. I think it sold like 4 million.
It was like 6. I thought it was 6 million, and they
6
said it was
whatever.
a failure.
They're like it missed projections and stuff like that, and that was in 2013.
Yeah.
Like let's just say that a hypothetical new one came out for a new trilogy or whatever, or let's just say Tomb Raider 4 or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way in hell that's looking even like Uncharted 4 now. Mm-hmm. And the bar has been raised since Uncharted 4. I would say you look at Last of Us 2 now, right, for the cinematic stuff. So I'm sure Tomb Raider will continue to exist. I don't think it's going to die, but I don't think they can continue on that formula anymore. They can't. They can't compete anymore.
Well, like that. What did they show at the new PlayStation reveal? That game. I think that game is basically replacing Tomb Raider, whatever that game was. Do you remember guys?
I don't remember that.
It's funny because
the one in the cave, the girl in the cave.
I barely remember that. I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember.
It seemed like I was like, oh, I guess is this Tomb Raider? And they're like, oh, it's not Tomb Raider, but it should probably been Tomb Raider. So it seems like that's replacing it. So I don't know. I don't think we're gonna be getting a new Tomb Raider anytime soon, in my opinion. At least the game that exists in. What was the last one called, Jim?
Rise of Skywalker.
No, the second one was Rise.
The second one was Rise. The third one was Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Shadow.
That was a terrible game.
Still hasn't gotten her to double her guns, right?
Yeah, that was it. No, she got them in those.
Here's what they honestly should do next. All right, and just remaster the originals. Remaster the original trilogy.
That's not a bad idea.
Release it for $39.99. Nostalgia. You look at Crash, you look at Spyro.
That's not a bad idea.
And Mario games. We're having a Mario collection this year, right?
Yeah,
Tony Hawk. All that stuff from the 90s is gold right now, and Square Enix would be stupid. And I'm not saying they're smart. I'm not saying they're smart. But they would be really stupid to not have this out within a year. A Tomb Raider original trilogy remaster.
Can Square get a game remastered in a year?
I mean, I'm not talking like full absolute remaster. I'm just talking like what Activision did with Crash, right?
Yeah, that's.
I want to say like that's balls to the walls, like super HD, right? It's just like, hey, looks clean.
I think they rebuilt that though.
It is. I think you're not going to get any up-reses anymore. I think even the bar for a remaster has been changed now.
Right. I'm not saying
I really have to remake the game.
Yeah. It's not like
But that's a great idea.
Shadows of the Colossus, full blown tear down.
That makes the most sense to do. You're right. Rather than have this series, which is dead now, to continue, revamp the '90s games, which have the nostalgia factor, remaster those. I mean, they're already doing remasters. That's a big thing right now. Remasters, not remakes, but like actual like.
Well, they are remakes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they don't have to go to the level of Final Fantasy VII did, but they do. Have to put the time in to make a game, and if it takes 2 to 3 years, you're still getting that remaster, that they can sell. And obviously it doesn't take a year. I think it's like 2 to 3, but it's not going to take them a full 5-6 year life cycle to get this game made. So, but I don't know. I think that's a great idea.
That would be the best idea because sorry to cut you off real quick. I'll make the point. You do that now, and in the meantime, okay, as Square Enix, I'm just role-playing Square Enix here. In that time frame, because that's going to buy you a lot of goodwill, it's going to get the IP back in people's minds, then you can figure out what the fuck you want to do with the franchise. Because, again, I don't think going for that AAA Uncharted light experience is going to pay off. Like, it's too risky. Like, it might, but I think it's really, really, really risky. And I think Square's risk-adverse.
It's really hard, actually. Like, we talked about it when we look at even the Sony exclusives, that there's not very many like single player focused third party like franchises that can compete with what Sony puts out as a first party like lineup. So and it's funny because when I think of Tomb Raider historically, I think of it as a PlayStation thing. I kind of think it would be better if it was a first party like game again. I know that Square Enix is not going to do that. They're not going to get bought by Sony anytime soon, but I don't know. I feel like that kind of needs to be. And then you can picture things like a Nathan Drake and Lara Croft crossover game. Imagine that.
I thought of that, before, like, Tomb Raider Uncharted.
Nathan Drake's done, but you get him out of retirement and meets Lara Croft.
Uncharted
Lara
5 is Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Maybe their daughter really is Lara Croft, and she was never a millionaire in England.
Yeah, it was all just like hallucination.
I don't know. I just think as a third party studio without a lot of backing, like Sony wants, it's hard to compete in a single player game.
I mean that makes the most sense. You're right. You don't think about it that way, but it's like it's a franchise that they can do the remasters for if they want to keep owning the franchise, or you sell to a studio that can do it on the level, like you sell to an Activision or an EA that might be able to do something. Obviously they wouldn't because it's EA, but that might be able to do something on the level of Uncharted and have the money behind it.
The Avengers game is Square Enix too, right?
What
is the same company?
Yes, the Avengers. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I was gonna be curious. I'm curious to see like just how big of a mess that is or not, because it could be a big cash cow for them too. So it might have a direct effect on what happens with Tomb Raider going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, like the thing is, like we do a disfavor to not talk about how at least the first game in the reboot, the 2013 series, like that was so popular. Like we talk about it missed the sales target, which is fine,
But the sales target was silly.
Right, the sales target was silly. But what really damaged that was going that Xbox exclusive, like time exclusivity for that second one. It just felt so. Yeah, that was so weird, and just like, they've been on the wrong horse. Like if it was the other way around, like if they had been like PlayStation exclusive for like a year or whatever like that, maybe things would be different now. But I just felt like it was like, first of all, Xbox, I mean, stuttered out of the gate, and then second of all, like that doesn't appeal to the dude bro shooter, audience,
the
like
Xbox,
right, the Xbox part. So it's just an unfortunate mismatch. So I don't know, but I think that really killed any of the momentum or goodwill that the first Tomb Raider got. They're just like, oh, cool, this one's Xbox exclusive for a year, and it's like that's the thing is like with console stuff, it's a little bit different than PC because PC players are just like shit. Like you just released Persona 4 Golden on Steam for $20. Hell yeah, we're all gonna buy that. When you talk about consoles, it's like a year something later. It's like, bro, I got other games to play now. Like I got other games,
Yeah. I mean, Mass Effect did okay. Not even that great considering when it got released, but it's still the franchise did fine on the PlayStation after it got released.
What did it? How did they even do Mass Effect 2 on PlayStation? Like they
did a story
catch-up?
Yeah, story catch-up. Yeah. So you did you selected your choices as you watched the story unfold. Corey, you're muted if you need that. Just okay. All right. I think that's it for this.
My kid just walked in. I'm like trying to get him not on camera. So.
they're blurred behind you, so we're okay.
I know.
But I think that's it. We're good. We covered this topic enough, anyways. Let's wrap up 505 of the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning in.
Just putting the it was the what was the title of that game? I was trying to think of earlier. Project Athia or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But Thanks for tuning in. You can write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe, the like button. We appreciate it. See you guys next week. More great topics coming your way.